G'day, welcome to today's episode, how to structure and follow a routine, whether that's for your fitness, health, mindset. Getting up early in the morning is a great one as well. Let's get straight into it. So my name is David Granada from Goliath Performance. We do mobile personal training where we go out to people's homes or local parks. We can start as early as 5 a.m. for the sessions in the morning. And one thing that people cannot make an excuse is when you have a personal trainer showing up at their door, knocking them on the door to get themselves up and out of bed and ready for their workout or session first thing in the morning. That's what we do. I love it. That's how we sort of came about helping out with everyone that we do help out with our clients. And following a routine as a personal trainer, having someone by your side, someone that does keep you accountable with all your bullshit and your stories and everything else that's holding you back. It's one of the surest ways to obviously overcome the challenges with self-sabotage is one of them, is a big one. People will be doing good and finding a little bit of success, and somehow they will sabotage their gains or themselves changing in any positive way to stay as they are. Now, I find that's very common these days. I find it's very common with a lot of people who might be just starting out or they've had about 10 years without doing any sort of like physical activity, or they've just worked and they've brought up a family and they've let themselves go in so many areas in their life. But what I'm talking about today is starting a new routine and following that routine. Now, it all does start first thing in the morning. Last week, 2 episodes ago, I talked about the 3 important times to structure your day to build success. Now we're just talking about the routine of having that as a part of your everyday sort of life where you go about your challenges, and especially like stress. I guess if you do have kids, if you have other commitments, work, how do you structure that obviously to follow and stay on track with that? Helping out someone as a personal trainer, it's very important to keep it realistic, keep it very basic, keep it very simple. Going overboard and trying to expect too many changes too soon, it can be done, but more often than not, you have to sort of readjust that spinning wheel of habits where if you got so much momentum of doing nothing for yourself, then you're going to need like a massive change to obviously reset that and then kick off that new spinning wheel of a new evolved version of yourself. I'm a big believer on that, and I know how real that is for most people who are starting out for themselves. So starting a routine, first thing in the morning, the hardest thing for all of us that we face is getting out of bed. If you can work on that, then you are one step ahead of your old previous self that sleeps in and says no to your day, no to your goals by hitting the snooze button. And when I say hitting, I'm not talking about hitting it once, but I'm saying 2 to 3, several times before you even get yourself out of bed. So start with that. Let's start there. The very first thing that you do in the morning is set a time that you agree with yourself. If you do have a trainer or someone else that you can keep accountable, your own partner, and work on that. Work on getting up earlier in the morning to set the tone for the day. It's that simple. Don't worry about all the morning routines. There's so much information out there about that. Just stick to the one simple thing, which is starting the day right by getting up at a certain time, which means you're gonna have to structure every other part of your day. So your evening routine, what you do when you come home from work, getting the next day ready. Those sort of things are very important as well, and that's how you build freedom and time for yourself, for your family, for the things that you want to do that are important to you. So you're putting more time into you instead of just reacting to everything that's happening in your life. Let's go on to the next step. So when building a routine, it's very important to not only like keep it realistic, but also have yourself be able to achieve success without feeling like you need to go back into how you once were. And the time that most people do fall off the momentum, so people start very well on Monday, by Wednesday, they sort of probably feel like they've got into a habit and routine. Thursday comes, Friday, it's like just get the day over with. But then it comes to the weekend. The weekend is the number one killer, besides not getting up in the morning. But the weekends is where people fall off with their diets, with their routine, the time that they're sort of like structured for themselves throughout the week. They're probably not, probably not going for a workout, getting your steps in, tracking anything, eating everything and everything that possibly that you can find that's put in front of you, drinking, you just name it. You're looking at all these old habits that obviously aren't pushing you forward. So with the weekend, you got to sort of just enjoy yourself, enjoy the downtime. Obviously, you have more time to yourself, but still stick to your goals. Like, still don't follow like the number the easiest one to look at is like if you follow a diet and let's say you go in a deficit, by Monday, let's say you're 1,000 calories deficit, so you're doing good to lose weight if that's your goal. Then over the weekend, you've probably doubled. You've gone into a 2,000 surplus, calorie surplus because you've allowed the weekend to pull you down and go back to how you were before you started the week. So you started the week so great, and this is almost like 99% of people starting a new habit, a new routine for themselves. The momentum, the motivation, the excitement at the start of the week is very high. Then it sort of goes down a little bit, dips down. Friday comes, and then the weekend hits, and they're back to how they were. Then you go and look at starting the second week, the second Monday. It's a lot harder. You probably given up. Probably said, fuck this. Let's just go back to what I'm used to, what I know, how I am, and that's it. So that's why it's so hard. That's why the weekend, in many ways, for a lot of people, if you're not keeping yourself honest, you're sort of just bullshitting around, trying to work out a bad routine for yourself, bad habits that you have over the weekend. Drinking alcohol is another big one. A lot of people, they don't obviously drink during the week, and then it comes to the weekend, they just have so much alcohol, and then they wonder why mentally they feel like absolute shit. And over time, that all just adds up, that they're not able to change who they are to become better, even mentally. Like, I'm talking about mentally here as a personal trainer, your mental health, mental mindset is the word I'm looking for. Mindset is primary. With a poor or shit negative mindset, with something that we all have, which is self-sabotage to keep us as we know we are, or even the people around us, as soon as you try and better yourself, and if you make that mistake of telling everyone, then the tall poppy syndrome, the crabs in the bucket are just gonna start pulling you back down, saying, "No way, you can't change. You can't be better than who you were yesterday or who I know you to be." And that's just the reality. That's how things are. That's what we have with people around us. So it's good to just keep quiet. Show, don't tell. Show them you have made the progress by them noticing in their own way, but not telling everyone and getting affected by outside energy. It's totally up to you. So if you're taking that step, if you're flipping the switch and making that decision to build yourself, to grow as a person, you don't have to promote it. They definitely do not promote it on social media. Don't have to get so much validation. by anybody. It's totally up to you. I mean, you can tell you're close. I would say if you wanted to tell your close people in your life, then great. But don't have to go that route. You just have to stick to what you know and what works for you to build upon that and grow at your own pace. It's not a race. You don't have to compare the comparison syndrome, where you're looking at someone else making a far better or quicker gains or success than yourself, and you sort of feel like, you're not getting that. So you just completely pull the pin and get yourself off your current momentum or goals that you are currently working towards. So when building a routine, try and keep it simple. Try and keep it very, very easy for you to follow and understand. And then obviously the next step of that is hire a coach, hire someone, have someone there that obviously cares enough about you without pulling you down. So someone that's close to you that doesn't feel like they want you to change in a better way that's going to affect them, like they want to see the best in you. And then watch your weekends. The weekends are a big killer. So if your weekends are structured around you sleeping in half the day, having habits that are very self-destructive with alcohol, smoking, vaping, or not setting a routine for yourself to get up in the morning and go to bed at sort of a similar time that you would follow during the week, that's a sure way where you're not gonna find the right momentum or success to push you forward and grow as a person. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about change here. For people to change, how long does it take for someone to change? Some people can take an instant. They just flip that switch in their brain and they've got that mindset of adapting like a machine, like a robot, and they just do it. I myself, I'm very much similar to that, where if I put my mindset towards something, and I'm very one-dimensional though, it's the only thing, probably a downside, is I just focus on that one thing and I push everything else out. I guess looking at that's probably a positive, but it just changes like the instant where I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to stick to it and see it through. That's where I focus and do what I set out to achieve. I've done something program. There's a few programs out there which helps with this. All about building habits and changing your mindset and maybe trying something new. One of them is 75 hard. I've talked about this previously. I'm not a firm believer in doing something like 75 hard, but giving it a go is great. I did it once. I'll never look at it, see it again. Costs about, I think, $8 or something on the app to get it. And basically, if you don't know what it is, you've got about 10 different things throughout the day that are already set to you to do. And you have to follow that through for 75 days. The only problem with that is when you get off that, you're just going to go back to how you were or worse. So following programs or these quick fix weight loss journeys, diets, it's probably good at the start, but it's up to you if you're going to stick to it and see that change for yourself. I mean, looking at like long-term type of goals and things that you can work towards, I would say stick to things that are more like physical, um, like competitions or things that are physically challenging, like maybe training for a marathon, a jiu-jitsu tournament, having your first boxing amateur fight. That there to me is like things that you would need to build within your own character, within your flaws, and you'll never turn back. Like there is no going back. Like you have got that experience. You don't have to keep doing those things as well because you have pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. And from that, you've grown where you probably look into other ways of growing and pushing yourself, like even to just join a new community. Um, doesn't have to be physical. I can't really think of like a new community, but the physical ones would be like a new jiu-jitsu gym where they just do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and you have to like embrace their culture, embrace their sort of training methods and how they sort of interact. And if some of them do compete, if you wanted to join them and compete with them as a team, even though it's an individual sport. But that there, like, pushes you forward into different levels of different ways of getting out of your current comfort zone. So I think that's what it's all about. It's just getting too comfortable with who you are and not taking the steps to push yourself further than you've ever been pushed before, and saying yes, having a season of yes where you're accepting and you're open to just do things where you probably won't ever sort of would have said yes unless you've changed your mindset to adapt and grow, have a growth mindset where whatever comes forward that's different or challenge, or you're so used to saying the same story to yourself, like, I would never do that, I would never put myself out there like that. You flipped the script and said, whatever comes to me, whatever that I wouldn't usually say yes to, you start saying yes, you start showing up, you physically be there, you put that time into yourself. Maybe on a Sunday morning, you'll start going for hikes with your family, or even just take out your dog. That's a lot better than the opposite of that, sleeping in on a Sunday. So that's a change. You've got a fixed mindset, growth mindset. You probably notice, which one you currently are on, which path you're on. Even if you're starting like a 8-week, F45 challenge, you've probably put so much in your physical training and diet, supplements, um, money, time into all that, but you're not looking into what time you're getting up in the morning, what time you're going to bed, how do you spend most of your time throughout the day, and what you do on the weekend. Look at your weekends. Your weekends reflect a lot for the week to come. For me, I have a time cutoff on Sunday that's at 4 p.m. I once upon a time used to do like a 24-hour fast, like a very extreme type of getting ready for the week ahead. But now it's just about meal prepping, having all my meals ready for the whole week. Don't have to think about it. I'm not going to the shops. I'm not going to spend time traveling, parking, cooking for myself during the week, because it's all prepped from me by me. It's a form of self-love, I call it. That's what discipline to me is just having that much self-love for yourself, that you're taking the time out for yourself throughout the day for something important like meal prepping, preparation for the meals that you will have. Sit down and enjoy those meals that you've specifically made for yourself. You can't beat that. I do that now with my fiance. She's great. She's a way better cook than me, and I enjoy it. I'm very grateful for that as well. So that's what we do together on a Sunday. She wants to do it on a Sunday night, which is fine. We do like a big barbecue, and whoever's over can come over and obviously enjoy us with the barbecue that we've had there and then, but also all the meats and everything else that we've made, salads throughout the week. We make it on that Sunday night with a big barbecue. It's been pretty good. We just started that. That's pretty much it from today. I think I've covered a few things. If I can just try to recap now what I've just talked about, what we have gone through. The first thing that we're talking about, I believe, is mindset is primary. Look at your mindset, your mental health, self-sabotage. What is holding you back? Why, when you grab a little bit of success, you flip back, you want to go back to your comfortable self? Looking into getting up, get the fuck up in the morning. If you need someone helping you out with that, we are mobile personal trainers, and we can come straight out to you starting at 5 a.m. in the morning. If that's how early you want to start, we'll be there. We'll be knocking on the door if you're still in bed and getting you out of bed to work on that. It's up to you though, if that's what you're willing to do for yourself. The third one, the final one, the most important one is the weekend. What you're doing with the weekend is a reflection of your week ahead, especially Sunday. If your Sunday is completely shit, if you aren't doing anything that has growth in it, yes, you can have a downtime. I sometimes do for a Sunday where I completely don't want no interactions with any other human but myself. It helps. That does help. You sort of sometimes do need that, but that's a form of growth as well. But I still do what I need to do. Still get up at a certain time on a Sunday. I'm still in bed at a certain time on Saturday night, just so I know I've got more time for myself instead of the opposite. That's it for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, found any value, please like, share, do as much as you can, so I can sort of see what is working for this podcast, habitual evaluation. This is the 13th episode. Been doing this now for 6 weeks, I believe. I do 2 episodes a day. Every Thursday I'm here. Been pumping it out, and it's been great. It's good to get this out there and see where it takes me. It's new for me as well, talking to this beautiful camera here in Cabramatta of all places. I absolutely love it. I love coming here, setting myself up. So if there's any value, if you got any feedback, comments, whatever you want to do, whether you're listening to this on the podcast, on YouTube, please send some love my way. They'll be grateful. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.